Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Tokyo. This is the Sumida River, and there along the riverside are some of the most beautiful sakura that you're going to find in the city. And there's virtually no people, which means we get this all to ourselves. Hello, good day. I'm walking now. This is the Sakura area. I've been here many times before. I love it here. It's very peaceful. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the significance of the cherry blossoms to people here in Japan. I'm not Japanese, but I've lived here for 20 years, and I've studied a little bit of the history enough where I might be able to talk about it. So without further ado, let's get towards these beautiful cherry blossoms and celebrate the Sakura season with our friend, the space boat. Space boat! Hey there! The weather is beautiful. So I'm putting the wide lens on right now. It's nice to see our friend, the space boat, making its way down the Sumida River. I always talk like I'm a space commander when I see the space boat. It's hard not to. Yes, so this here is full bloomed, and you can see the white of it. The sunlight is now lower. It's about 4:30, 4:45 p.m. And that gives us different lighting. When it's above us at noon, it's not quite the same as right now. So I'm gonna take you over now, and we're gonna talk about the samurai, or the bushi, because we didn't say samurai. People didn't say samurai back in the medieval period, back in the Edo period. We would say bushi, which is the proper word. And I got a lot to talk about this topic. Wow. That's what I'm talking about with the lighting. I'm gonna come back here tonight, by the way, for one last stream about the cherry blossoms. But that's just so beautiful. The way that the light is hitting it from behind, just illuminating the whiteness of it. Looks like it's snow. So nice. So let me just walk down a little bit further, and I'll get you a closer up of the sakura trees. But here's some expressions. One of them is, I wrote them down. You can't make a mistake with this historical stuff. Very popular expression is hana wa sakuragi, hito wa bushi, which literally means that the best blossom is the cherry blossom, the sakura, and the best man is the warrior, all right, which would be the bushi or the samurai. And the samurai had a very strong connection with the cherry blossoms because they had a parallel in life. And in fact, the Japanese can see this parallel because it's very deep and rooted in Buddhism. Bukyo, which we call here, the transience of life. And the cherry blossom, it lasts just a small amount of time. It's here today, gone tomorrow. But it's that which connects the bushi or the samurai, because the samurai also lived short lives, because all military people back then did, and they were not afraid to die. And that fear of that lack of fear for dying made them appreciate the life that they had even more. And that's sort of what we would go back and think about back in this time. So the longer I stay here in Japan, the more these cherry blossoms have meaning to me. Wow, this is such a beautiful point here. So that expression, hana wa sakuragi, hito wa bushi, that goes all the way back to the medieval period. And again, like, the samurai were the best of the men back then. That's what that proverb goes. And this is the best of the flowers. Yeah. So that's why samurai were very linked with the cherry blossom, because the lives were both short and both meaningful. And if you can find the meaning in cherry blossom that you see here, you can find meaning in your life, no matter how long or how short it is. But the life of the cherry blossom is so celebrated here in Japan because it doesn't last very long. Because it's here for just a short amount of time. That's why we celebrate them even more. Because our lives are all short, and we have to find meaning in that short amount of time. We have to realize that we're not here for very long, just like these blossoms. And they're in full bloom right now, but I would say in about 48 to 72 hours from now, they won't be here at all. They're just going to fall off of the tree and make their way to the ground, into the river, where green sprouts of leaves will come out, and that's the end of the beauty of these white flowers. which is very, 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 very beautiful. I love this time of year. There's lots of quotes and expressions you'll find throughout history, all linked to the cherry blossoms, many of which go back centuries. I know I'm going to talk about my experience being a resident of Japan for the last 20 plus years, and kind of give you my experiences with this cherry blossoms. This is such a big moment of the year for me. It's something I always look forward to. But if you look back on history, the cherry blossoms have always been linked to the samurai class and to people in general. And this quote that I have here is from Yoshida Kenko, who was a hermit priest, the best kind, and a revered poet of the 12th century. This is like centuries ago, and he wrote eloquently, are we to look at cherry blossoms only in full bloom, the moon only when it is cloudless? To long for the moon while looking on the rain? To lower the blinds and be unaware of the passing of spring? These are even more deeply moving. Branches about to bloom or gardens strewn with faded flowers are worthier of our admiration. In all things, it is the beginnings and endings that are interesting. If man were never to fade away but lingered on forever in the world, how things would lose the power to move us. The most precious thing in life is its uncertainty. And that is a cherry blossom. It's here today, gone tomorrow. This comes from a priest from the 12th century. I mean, there's so many deep... If you just search the internet, you'll find like hundreds and hundreds of quotes. Probably half of them made up. Half of them might be made up, who knows? But they've all been translated into English. And when you do read them, you see a deeper meaning of life. Look at this. Wow. There's a little bit of wind here. There's so many. And if you do, I'm going to walk this way. If you do find any quotes from the internet and you want to copy paste them here, or if you yourself have any original quotes, go ahead and copy paste it in the chat. Because the cherry blossoms is a celebration of life in itself, because they don't last long, and a way to reflect back on our own lives. This one comes from Moto Ori Norinaga from 1730 to 1801. He was alive, and he wrote in, if I were asked to explain the Japanese spirit, I would say it is a wild cherry blossom glowing in the morning sun. So people would really live in this moment that is right now. They would live in this moment just for these few days. Check it out. And just soak up that beauty of these white blossoms. And for the rest of the year, I guess right now it's quite windy, and these blossoms will not stay on the tree for much longer, but for the next few days, people just stop. Like, they've just stopped. You see the kids down there? They've really stopped to take a picture. Mom's taking a picture of us in the background. I should probably get down. Okay, I don't want to. All right, it's too late. The kids are doing a jumping photo. It's a time when you would just slow down life, and you would look up and think a little bit more deeply about the way that you live your life, and to know that we are all not here for very long, and to find meaning in that, especially for the samurai. And they did not have very long lives. Some of them did, if they were good at wielding a sword, I guess, and good warriors. But the life of a warrior was not meant to last for a long time. Wow. So we're getting closer and closer to the end. But look at the way when the sun hits it at different angles, they really come to life, don't they? Right now, the sun is just behind them. Trying to keep the wind off of the mic a little bit. Do you see the ones in the background? Not the one in the foreground moving? And the light just glistening off of the Sumida River there. It's very, very beautiful. So it goes, there's a long history with cherry blossoms. And for me, now, as someone who's lived here for 20 years, I can tell you though, like, I hate winter. I really, really don't like it. I don't hate a lot of things, but winter is one thing where I just can't get behind. I'm not a snow person. And when I see these white blossoms, it means pretty much the worst is behind us, and everything starts to look up. And it's the start of a new year, April 1st. Usually the cherry blossoms are some still clinging. It's now April 3rd here in Tokyo, but it gives me hope that the weather is changing. Warm weather is ahead. Summer's here, longer days. To me, that's sort of what it means to me. In the beginning, it meant parties. I'll be honest with you. It meant parties because people you'll travel around Japan and you'll see hanami parties or flower viewing parties, and people will just drink and celebrate. And each person has a different way to celebrate. Even the beer companies. This is a Asahi Super Dry. You all know this as the silver cans, right? The silver, but this one at this time of year turns pink, and it's a celebration of the cherry blossoms, which is actually on the can of beer itself. And these cans of beer actually, and most cherry blossom items are sold in February, before the cherry blossoms even come out. That's their marketing strategy. And then they're sold out by April, which makes no sense because this is the time when you want to buy the stuff with the cherry blossoms. But in Japan, it's all about the hype. So when you get underneath the cherry trees, when I first came here, it was a time to party where I would meet my friends and we would drink and really enjoy spring. And I didn't really understand the meaning of the cherry blossoms until about, I don't know, about 10 years ago. It took me 10 years before I started looking into the deeper meanings of it and why people were really celebrating. I put a link in the description of a video that I made when I first started the Only in Japan channel. That would be I think it was the 4th or 5th video that I made about the cherry blossoms. And in it, I met a guy halfway through the video at up the park, Inokashira Park in Kichijoji, and he had a picture of a woman in a frame, and he was sitting by himself under the trees. And I asked him, "What are you doing? Who is this nice lady in the frame?" And I knew it must have been somebody that he was remembering, and he told me the story of how he and his wife, or his mother, I believe, it's been 6 years ago. Him and his mother used to always come to the same spot every year and celebrate the cherry blossoms. Even if it was just for one day, they would both come here to the spot. And she is no longer with him, but still goes back to that park with her photo to remember the spirit of his mother. And that story is in the video. The link is in the description. Definitely check it out. That's when I started, that was 6 years ago, and I started to really start to see the cherry blossoms differently than I did when I first came to Japan. No longer do I see them as an opportunity to drink a lot of alcohol, but I see them more as an opportunity to connect with nature and my past and the memories that I've had with other people, and to know that my own time here, sorry about the wind noises, my own time here and our own time here is very, very short. Yeah. Yeah, the wind noise is gonna go on a little bit. The wind really gets stronger in April, as it does in many places. Hey, everybody. So for me, in the last 20 years, it's changed a lot. From 20-year-old John to 40-year-old John. And then 50-year-old John will probably be even more philosophical, reading about the history, about what you see around you. But it's this time of year that I'm just starting to get why, after 20 years of living here, I'm just starting to get what connects people in Japan to these blossoms. And it's not just the beauty themselves. There's so many different layers to the onion that make these important to people. Can you eat the cherry blossoms? Yes, but don't touch them. They're sacred and they're holy. And their lives are already so short. Why shorten them, right? Why shorten the lives of the cherry blossoms anymore by plucking them? They'll fall themselves naturally. In fact, they already are. You can see them starting to make their way to the ground. In blizzards, you're gonna see in the next 24 to 48 hours, blizzards of petals. There are some people here. One of the reasons I like to come here is because there aren't a lot of people that come to this side, yet there's so many beautiful Sakura. Hey, Christian. Again, I'm going to come back here tonight for one last cherry blossom live stream before I end. I'm trying real hard to keep the wind off of it. They're talking about getting some beers out. Again, people will come out with their coworkers and they'll come out with their friends and they celebrate together. And it's a time of year it brings people together. That's what I saw in my 20s. It was a time to bring people together and to drink and to celebrate underneath the cherry blossoms. And now it's a time where I kind of just stop in my life for a couple of days and remember those who I've celebrated with in the past, and kind of remember that life is not long. You got to do something with it. You have to be a warrior. When you know you're not going to be here that much longer, and in the scope of Japan's history, we're talking like centuries, millennium. Yeah, this moment that we have together that we're sharing is important, and you have to do something with it, and that's what I intend to do with 2019. All right, up here on the steps, we have some more beautiful cherry blossoms, and the light is coming from the side, so it's even more stunning with the blue sky today. You only live once. That's right. Wow. You can smell it. There's a sweetness in the air. There's a sweetness to the smell of the air. Another thing I really love about spring in Japan. Sorry about the wind, guys. Every tree is special. Now these are Some Yoshino trees. Again, the blossoms bloom at this time. The majority of the blossoms in Japan are Some Yoshino blossoms, the white ones. There are other Sakura trees that'll bloom at different times, and people have been asking me, what is the best time? That bell marks 5 o'clock, and usually it'll ring throughout the city. It's pretty cool, huh? That's across the river. Yeah. Usually these bells, and they play music out in the countryside, and it's a way to let the kids know to go home and school is finished, so you don't lose track of time. And now it's something I associate with the countryside, but we have it even here in Tokyo. Wow. So this little tunnel on the Sakura side of the Sumida River is just it really is beautiful. And very few people here. While the entire city seems to be down in Ueno Park, there are places like this all over Japan with very few people. And again, for me, it's changed a lot, where I would search out the places where they were really exciting, where people were drinking and socializing. And then I realized these days now, I'd rather just be in these places that are very natural, where I can be myself and listen to the sound of the wind rustling through the leaves and the blossoms, to have little teeny moments like this where the boat is passing through the foliage. Look at that. Yeah. It's a great place to clear your mind. Right. Nowadays, things in life move so fast. You have to just slow it down, because really, nothing lasts for that long. And I'm actually really going to be sad that in 48 hours from now, very few of these white blossoms, now it's all white. Do you see that? You see this? It's all white. This is incredible. And in 48 hours, it'll start to just go away. And in probably 72 hours, it'll start, the green leaves will start popping out, and this will be just a normal park. But right now it looks like it's snowed. It looks like it's snowed. But to go back to the history, just for those joining us, the samurai were very, very connected with the cherry blossoms, because the life of the blossoms was short, just like the samurai, and they never forgot it. that such beauty lasts only for such a short amount of time, just like their lives were, because warriors are here for just short periods of time. And there's a sadness to that, isn't there? There's a sadness to that. But when you know that the gig is up real soon, I think you tend to enjoy your life a little bit more, and you don't waste your time. You don't waste your time so much. You spend your time doing something with it. You have purpose to it. And these blossoms have purpose. They make our lives better, maybe. I don't know. They seem to do that for the samurai. Looks great. You can see there's some blue sheets people are setting up for drinking parties tonight. I'll probably come back this evening I'm gonna bring a light with me, and I wanna show you another side of the cherry blossoms. I think right now you're seeing really beautiful blue skies. When the sun goes down and it gets dark out here, if you bring your own light, you can get amazing pictures of these cherry blossoms. Right now the lighting is just perfect. You cannot film the cherry blossoms at noon when the sun is directly above it. You have to get it in the morning. And that's when there's this kind of, the morning there's this, let me get out of the wind. The morning there is this kind of glow, like a golden glow to the cherry blossoms. And then in the evening right now, there's another kind of dancing light that's coming from the side. And if you're a photographer, you might know what I mean, but it just comes, these blossoms just come more to life, don't they? Hey, David Kimura, thank you very much. Kanai's not feeling well, so maybe I'll take her out to dinner with that. Here comes a boat. Yeah, she has a stomach virus. She ate something that wasn't too good. And she'll be back on her feet soon. It's pretty. It's hard to find peaceful places like this in the city of Tokyo. And, oh, there's a... So get this in focus for you. Yeah, it's hard to find peaceful places in the city of Tokyo because all of the popular parks that are in guidebooks are the worst places to go. Well, they're fun if you want to meet a lot of people, but they're not places where you would connect. The samurai would not be in Ueno Park today. Samurai would be with me because that's what I would hope that they would be, but I'm not really sure I'm not a samurai. I think that they'd be walking around like this thinking about their lives and stuff like that, just walking around contemplating how better could I live my life for such a short time that we have. Youth is so short as well. These blossoms represent and remind us every year how short everything is. There's a group of women have a secret party going on in the bushes. The ladies have a secret party going on back there. That's funny. I like that. Oh, wow. I love this time of the day. You'll walk by in the parks. This is one of the reasons why I love this Sakura area. You'll walk by the parks and you see this light, the light coming at this angle, making the blossoms just glow, and the tree trunk itself is dark. So if I can zoom past a little bit, it's even more beautiful with the real eyes than a smartphone, but you get the picture. True story. But there are scenes, this is hundreds and hundreds of angles and scenes right now. the sun is right now. We're not gonna have these very long. Cherry blossoms, hang on! We really lucked out. The moment of rain, which was a couple of days ago, they were only 75% bloomed, so they're still hanging on. And now the wind is starting to pick up because it's the beginning of April, and it's gonna be just 48 to 72 hours left for the Somei Yoshino. Yeah, we saw the space boat not too long ago. We saw the space boat. It's pretty neat. I haven't seen it in a while. Wow, people are setting up blue sheets. That wasn't here 20 minutes ago when I walked by. People come early to reserve a spot, and they found a spot that's easy to find by the bridge where we started the live stream. Yeah, this is a beautiful park. There was an expression that I introduced to everybody in that video that I shared the link to in the description. And I think I talked about it a couple of days ago, but mono no aware, which explains, it's a very deep word. It sort of summarizes the connection that Japanese have with nature in general. It doesn't have to be with the cherry blossoms, but that same connection people have with things, with natural things in the natural world. It's a deep word. And a lot of it goes back to the connection to Buddhism or Bukkyo here in Japan. You can see the sky tree on the left side. One of the most beautiful places in the city, I think, is here because it's across the river from the center, not that far, and it's just so peaceful. That light will turn on in about an hour as well. And there'll be some light on the white blossoms. And when the sky is black and it's dark around, and then there's just a little bit of light, these blossoms look completely different again. And every time of the day, every couple of hours, they take on a new personality to me. You can come back tonight, it'll be different when we come back. In the morning, if you come here in the morning with the sunlight coming from the other direction, it's a totally different scene again. And if you're an artist and you paint cherry blossoms or you paint scenes like this, you have to, that moment only lasts for a couple of minutes, a couple of hours, and the lighting might change again. And not often do you get cherry blossoms in Tokyo with the blue sky, actually. There'll be times where you'll come to the city and you'll just have overcast skies the entire time. But it's when you get the blue in the background, you see through the cracks of the cherry blossoms right now, really, really adds something special to looking at it, looking up and seeing that vivid blue sky, clear sky. We still have clear skies because of the coolness in the air. There's no humidity right now, so that gives us such beautiful skies and deep, long views to Mount Fuji. If you're up there in one of these high-rise mansions, I bet you have a really long view to Mount Fuji right now. Yeah, so we got another 48 hours of Hanami. Which is a shame. My friend Peter, he left Japan for a few days, so won't be able to call him up for a live stream. O Hanami. There's a nice song, Sakura Sakura. If you Google that on YouTube, you'll hear the song. Sakura Sakura. I don't know the words. Sakura. I should learn the words. But it sounds like a sad song. And so the cherry blossoms, I don't know, we celebrate them, but in a sad way, because we know that they're not gonna last. We know it's not gonna last. Yeah, I prefer the sakana. I like the sakana song. That's fish. There's a fish song. But the Sakura song is also something that's very deep in the history, and when you hear it, it's a celebration. It's not a fun song. It's not an upbeat song, but it's a song where you can sink into it and think deeper. And that's sort of what this time is about. You can hear the birds chirping. Callum has put the words in there. The birds are chirping in that tree over there. Very nice. Big thank you to Matsumi for the gimbal. This smoothness has been brought to you by Matsumi. Tsunoda. Oh, there's a boat coming. Is that the space boat? You'll find out in about 5 seconds. It'll be coming in the background. The answer is no, it's not space boat. This is what Cherry Blossoms is for me. I'll work all day and then I'll take a few hours and just walk through the park and enjoy it. That's what it's all about. How do the cherry blossoms smell? Okay. That's a good one. Good pull on that. Not much. I don't have much. It smells fresh and floral, but it doesn't have a real strong odor to it. Don't inhale a bug. Try not to. Not much of a smell, but I think a collective smell. It just depends on the area. Different varieties of the cherry blossoms have different smells. The ones that are pink and sort of purplish, they have more of a scent to it. Some of Yoshino aren't too much, too blossomy smelling, but you can't eat the cherry blossoms. I don't think that they eat the Some Yoshino, this one here. I think it's the pink variety. I can't remember the name of it, but you'll see them in confections and foods, and they're usually put in like a little bit of salt water to preserve them, and then you can lay that out on top of sweets and desserts, and it's really, really got a floral taste to it. It's good. It's fresh. That's, I think, what's supposed to be spring is, right? And you'll see the essence of the cherry blossoms being more and more put into food. I found these cherry blossoms at that's Sakanosh. Sakana. That's the wrong song. But cherry blossoms the essence of it is being put in more and more foods. I've never seen it in as many shops this year as any time in the last 20 years. Even Kit Kat came out with these Sakura flavored sake Kit Kats in the blue bags, which I ate 2 weeks ago, and that's coming out more and more. So I guess next year will even be bigger with the Olympics coming. Everything's gonna have that Sakura essence put into it. I am not complaining. How did it taste? You have to watch that episode. I think I eat it in the first 5 minutes of the episode, but it has a slight floral taste to it, a freshness to the Japanese sake taste that I'd never had before. It was really, really, oh, that's a good bunch right there. Do you see that? Wow. I hope one day, I hope it never happens, but if the earth ever destroys itself, I don't know why I'm laughing. If the earth ever does destroy itself, I'll be able to look back at this moment from decades back on YouTube. YouTube never got out of business, and be able to say, we had something pretty good going on, didn't we? I don't want to lose what we have here. These are younger Some Yoshino trees, not quite as big as the ones that I've been showing you, but the life of these Some Yoshino trees, I hope that doesn't happen either, but I don't know. Again, life is short, and what we have now is very precious, and I think you have to take that kind of a feeling. The longer I live in Japan, the more I guess I see the natural order of the world and things like this. I'm talking above my own head here, but Japan has had a huge impact on the way I live my life. Now you can see the sun has gone behind a building and the blossoms don't have that glow to it. Yeah, now it's in a shadow. But if you look back, do you see what I'm talking about? Remember this golden glow that these cherry blossoms have. And tonight when we come back, I'm gonna bring a light with me. We're gonna illuminate some of the trees and it's really gonna come to life. I'm coming back to the same spot. Should be nice. Somebody wrote here, Sakura. Yeah, that's nice. It's cute. Looks like a kid had done it. So I'm gonna walk through here one more time, and then we're gonna end the live stream. I'm doing this more, just as much as this is for you. I'm doing this for myself too, so I can play it back and watch. I love that too about the live streams. They're kind of free in nature, and we can remember this point in time. But just over the last 30 minutes that we've been walking and looking and having our own little private Hanami party here, the lighting has changed significantly, and I'm gonna go back to this tunnel over here. PTM 45 SMI, glad I got into a live stream. I'm glad to. I kind of do these a little bit longer because I know not everybody gets a notification. So I might do this just a little bit longer. In playback, it's not as much fun, but I know that people are tuning in at all different times. Yeah, the iPhone 10X, 10S, XS does pretty good with the HDR. It makes the colors a lot more vibrant. There you go. Now you see there's a blueness to the river and this white golden glow of the cherry blossoms that are down there. All right, let's go down that way. Oh, those are the ladies having the private party. They found a little secret hideout on the left there. Party's finished. Wow. And if you're coming to Japan now, don't worry. If you got a JR pass, you can go up to Hirosaki in Aomori or some of the other places. The blossoms will be blooming up north in Tohoku next week. They don't all bloom at the same time. They don't just explode and go, it's time now, we're done. They bloom slowly and you can make your way up north. Hokkaido doesn't bloom until May. So you got plenty of time if you're coming to Japan. You don't make it to Tokyo. And once again, like Tokyo is not my favorite place for cherry blossom viewing. It's because it's hard to get private areas like this, but we do have that here in places like Tsukuda across the river from Nihonbashi. You can get to Tokyo Station in about 10 minutes by bus, but walk there in about 25 minutes from here. It's a nice little walk along the Sumida River. And yeah, just this whole episode is about finding a connection with the cherry blossoms. In a way, I think perhaps the samurai did 150 years ago or 200 years ago when life was just different back then. And now the way we connect with cherry blossoms is more to celebrate them with alcohol. But also, I think to stop and other people have different ways to celebrate them, but to stop and look at our own lives for just a couple of days and realize that everything doesn't last forever. And that great appreciation and the lesson that we learn from this cherry blossoms, I think we don't forget it, and it just keeps on going throughout the year. And maybe it's one of the reasons why the society here in Japan works pretty good, because we all are remembering natural things in life that's all around us. Not saying that this is not done in other countries. It's just still very, very important here in Japan on this scale. And that's why there's so many cherry blossom trees planted all over the entire country. It's not just in Tokyo, it's all over Japan. And we have to remember that, Tokyo is just one city. You can find these on top of mountains, in the countryside, in places where there's no population at all. The Yoshino tree and other varieties are everywhere to remind you of the beauty of spring and nature. It's a shame, like in the US, there's just the Washington, D.C. and a few places in Washington State. And you see more and more of them now, but it's not the same. Here in Japan, we really live for this type of time of year, and we live in a different way. And that life is translated into, I don't know, maybe we're just, we live in a very safe country here in Japan. And I think on the happiness scale, Japan is not high on that list. However, inside of that, there are a lot of beautiful, beautiful things and people. We do have there is a very nice society here in Japan. It's because we don't forget where we came from or forget that life is precious and short, and we celebrate it when we have it. And that's what we're doing today. So I will see you tonight in another live stream when we come back to the same area and look at it in the evening. And then we'll see exactly how different the cherry blossoms are. So have a good day, a good night, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy your spring. And don't forget these little moments in life where everything is really blooming and life slows down. Remember how precious your life is. See you later.